Breaking. A beloved voice from Ricky Dillard's powerhouse choir, Josh Kagler, has just been arrested, and the details are more disturbing than you'd expect. Gospel fans are in shock. The church community is divided, and the truth behind this arrest is sending ripples through the entire gospel industry. What really happened behind the scenes, and why are some people defending him while others say his secrets are finally catching up? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. Welcome back to the channel, where we uncover the stories others are too afraid to tell. And today, we've got a bombshell that's rocking the gospel music world to its very core. Josh Kaggler, a talented vocalist, respected worship leader, and beloved member of Ricky Dillard's dynamic choir, has been arrested. Yes, you heard that right. The man whose voice once soared through sanctuaries and stadiums is now at the center of a criminal investigation. And what makes this story even more chilling? The silence. No press release, no public statement from Ricky Dillard, just whispers, rumors, and now shocking confirmation. You're probably wondering, what did he do? Was it a misunderstanding? Is someone out to destroy his reputation? Or is there a hidden side to Josh Kaggler that fans never saw? In this video, we're diving deep into court documents, eyewitness accounts, and the online backlash that's quickly spiraling out of control. We'll explore Josh Kaggler's rapid rise in gospel, the jaw-dropping details surrounding his arrest, and the fallout that's threatening to fracture one of the most respected choirs in modern gospel music. So grab your seat, because what we're about to uncover will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew, and trust me, you won't believe who else might be involved. Let's get into it. Before the headlines and the handcuffs, Josh Kaggler was known for something entirely different: his anointing. His voice was unmistakable, smooth, powerful, full of conviction. Born and raised in the heart of the South, Josh wasn't just a singer, he was the voice behind some of the most spirit-filled worship moments in modern gospel. Josh started out humbly, singing in his local church choir in Birmingham, Alabama. Even as a teen, people said he had an old soul. His voice carried the kind of weight you'd expect from someone twice his age. Pastors began inviting him to sing at revivals. Youth conferences booked him as their headline psalmist. It wasn't long before the name Josh Kaggler started echoing beyond state lines. Then came his breakout moment, joining Ricky Dillard's New G Choir, a legendary powerhouse in gospel music. Ricky Dillard has built a reputation for cultivating vocalists who don't just perform, they minister. And Josh fit the mold perfectly. His feature performances sent audiences into a frenzy. Videos of him leading worship went viral. Church folks and gospel fans alike began calling him a young Donnie McClurkin. But it wasn't just the vocals that captured hearts. Josh presented himself as a humble servant of God, always dressed sharp, always gracious, always giving glory to Jesus. His Instagram overflowed with scriptures, devotionals, and behind-the-scenes glimpses of his life on the road, praying, singing, laughing with choir members. From the outside, it looked like he was living in purpose. He even branched out with his own group, Josh Kaggler and Harmonistic Praise Crusade. Their recordings had that raw, authentic church energy, and fans loved it. For a moment, it seemed like Josh was being positioned to become the next major gospel star. But here's the twist. While he was climbing the charts and gaining favor in the church world, another story was unfolding in the shadows, because behind the praise was a private life few knew about, and what was once hidden is now being dragged into the spotlight. So what happened? How did a man so gifted, so respected, end up behind bars? We're about to break it all down in the next section. And trust me, the charges are worse than you think. It started as just another quiet evening in Jefferson County, Alabama, until sirens lit up the sky and the name Josh Kaggler appeared on a police report no one expected. According to official reports from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, Josh Kagler was booked on multiple felony charges that sent shockwaves through the gospel and faith community. The date was clear, July 19th, 2024. The charges? Possession of a controlled substance, intent to distribute, and resisting arrest. Let's break that down. The official records. The court documents state that Kaggler was pulled over during a routine traffic stop around 11:48 p.m. just outside of Birmingham. Officers claim he was driving erratically and initially failed to yield when they turned on their lights. When he eventually stopped, body cam footage reportedly shows Kaggler nervous and evasive. That's when things escalated. A search of his vehicle allegedly uncovered a stash of pills, some of which were unmarked and believed to be narcotics. Alongside those, a large amount of cash, multiple mobile phones, and a digital scale. Items police say are commonly associated with distribution, and here's where it gets even messier. Sources close to the investigation say Josh tried to explain that the substances were prescribed medication and the cash was tour money. But officers weren't buying it. Once they attempted to cuff him, he resisted. Not violently, but enough that they had to call in backup to safely detain him. He was then transported to the Jefferson County Jail and booked just after midnight. Bail set, but no immediate release. The judge initially set bail at $25,000, but here's the kicker. Kaggler didn't post bail right away. Why? According to a source from inside the jail system, he was placed under a mental health hold, citing erratic emotional behavior and distress. That move delayed his release and added fuel to the rumors swirling online. Social media explodes by morning. Gospel fans were stunned. Some people didn't believe it, assuming it was fake news or a smear campaign. Others began reposting screenshots of the arrest record, questioning how someone who just ministered through song the week before could now be sitting in a jail cell facing drug charges. One Twitter user wrote, "We really don't know these artists outside of the church lights. Lord, cover us all." Another commented, "Just because you sing about God doesn't mean you're exempt from demons." Harsh? Maybe. But it's clear the gospel community was divided. Some showed support, citing the pressures of the industry and spiritual warfare. Others were quick to condemn, questioning how someone entrusted with leading others in worship could be living such a double life. The questions. People are asking, was Josh set up by someone envious of his rise? Was this a personal battle with addiction he kept hidden? Or is there more to the story? Something the police and public haven't uncovered yet? No matter which way you look at it, the situation has deeply rattled the church world, and it wasn't long before major voices in gospel, including Ricky Dillard himself, were pressured to respond. When news of Josh Kaggler's arrest broke, fans weren't just stunned by the charges. They were waiting, eyes glued to social media, to see how Ricky Dillard, the legendary choir director and gospel icon, would react. Would he support Josh, distance himself, or stay completely silent? At first, the silence was deafening. The initial silence, was it strategy or shock? In the 48 hours after Josh's arrest, Ricky Dillard remained completely silent across all his platforms. No tweets, no Instagram stories, no press statements. This caused speculation to swirl even faster. Some insiders claimed that Dillard was advised by his legal team to not make any public statements while the case was developing, especially since Josh had just been performing with Ricky's choir weeks earlier during a major summer tour. Others believed the silence wasn't legal. It was personal. You could tell Ricky was heartbroken, said one anonymous member of the gospel community. Josh wasn't just a singer, he was family to the New G family. This wasn't just bad press. This was betrayal. The first word. A subtle post sparks discussion. It wasn't until 4 days after the arrest that Ricky Dillard finally broke his silence. And he didn't do it in a press release or interview. Instead, he posted a cryptic Instagram story with a black background and the words, "We all fall short. Pray before you speak. Romans 3:23. Just 11 words, but they sent gospel Twitter into a frenzy. Was he defending Josh? Calling out those spreading gossip, or reminding everyone of their own humanity? Comment sections were lit up. That's right, Ricky. Don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. But accountability is not judgment. He's got to face the music. Finally, a statement. The very next day, Ricky Dillard went live on Facebook for a 7-minute video that was part sermon, part confession, part plea. Here's what he said, paraphrased for clarity. I come before y'all today not as a choir director, but as a man who loves his team like family. Yes, I am aware of the situation involving Josh Kaggler. Yes, I am hurt. Yes, I am praying. And yes, I am giving him space to heal, face whatever truth he needs to face, and work through his journey. He went on to say, let's be clear, I do not condone wrongdoing, but I also don't believe in canceling someone God isn't done with. If this is a wake-up call for Josh, may it lead him closer to God. Ricky didn't confirm if Josh was removed from the choir or not. He didn't give details about their last conversation, but his tone was clear. Love, pain, and disappointment, not rejection. And fans noticed the power of grace in gospel culture. The gospel world isn't like Hollywood. Here, scandal hits differently because fans and church members don't just see artists as performers, they see them as ministers, messengers, leaders. So when someone like Josh falls from grace, the question isn't just what happened, it's how do we respond in truth and grace? Ricky Dillard walked that tightrope. His message wasn't a cover-up. It wasn't a smear. It was a call to prayer, growth, and accountability, wrapped in compassion. It reminded fans that gospel artists are still human, still struggling, still growing, and that leads us directly into the next layer of this situation. Because while Josh was staying quiet, another voice began to emerge. A former choir member who once shared the stage with Josh came forward with a story no one saw coming. As the gospel world wrestled with the fallout of Josh Kaggler's arrest and Ricky Dillard's careful, grace-filled response, a new and completely unexpected voice stepped forward, and what she revealed would flip the entire narrative upside down. A woman from within. The whistleblower speaks her name. We'll call her Sister T for now. A former member of Ricky Dillard's new G choir, Sister T had been silent for years. She had toured, she had sung, she had witnessed it all until now, and finally, she'd had enough. In a shocking TikTok live stream, viewed over 500,000 times within 48 hours, she didn't just speak about Josh Kaggler. She exposed the toxic underbelly of the gospel performance world that fans never get to see. Josh ain't the first one, she said plainly. He's just the one that got caught. That one line lit a wildfire across social media. The video that blew up gospel TikTok. In the 15-minute viral stream, Sister T made several jaw-dropping claims. Choir culture was full of secrets. There were parties after the shows. People drinking, hooking up, pretending like we weren't supposed to be leading worship 12 hours later. Josh was protected for years. He had charisma, he was talented, and that made people ignore red flags. I saw him make inappropriate comments. I saw the way he flirted with vulnerable women backstage. People laughed it off. Multiple people had allegedly raised concerns. There were whispers, quiet complaints, but nobody wanted to ruin a good tour. Nobody wanted to break the spirit, so they silenced it. Her tone wasn't bitter, it was grieved, tired, disappointed, and the video ended with this. If the gospel world doesn't start holding its own accountable, then we are no different than the world we claim to be saving. Mic dropped. The gospel community divides. Her video caused an explosion of reactions across platforms. Supporters praised her. Finally, someone speaking truth to power. We need more Sister T's willing to risk it all for the sake of real ministry. Critics attacked her. Why now? Why not go to the church leadership privately? This feels like bitterness disguised as truth. Some questioned her motives. Others questioned the church's decades-long failure to create safe, accountable spaces for choir members and performers. But what no one could deny was this: she cracked open a door, and what spilled out was years of pain. The bigger question: how much did people know? Sister T's revelations forced everyone to reconsider. Was Josh Kaggler's downfall a sudden shock, or the natural result of years of ignored behavior? Multiple anonymous insiders began sending DMS to Christian bloggers, sharing their own stories. A few recounted he had groupies at gospel fests. I heard a woman crying in a hotel hallway after one event. No one asked questions. We were told to pray it away and keep smiling on stage. It painted a disturbing picture, not just of Josh Kaggler, but of a culture that sometimes prioritized image over integrity. And as this storm was swirling, Josh finally made his first move. He didn't do it on social media. He didn't do it in church. He did it in court. And the headlines that followed? Unbelievable. After the whirlwind of allegations, online debates, and painful testimonies from former choir members like Sister T, all eyes turned to one final stage: the courtroom. This was no rehearsal, no pulpit, no choir robes. This time the microphones were muted and the only sound was the gavel of justice. And what happened inside that courtroom left even the most seasoned observers speechless. The courtroom was packed on the morning of the hearing. Media outlets gathered outside the courthouse. Gospel blogs, YouTubers, TikTok reporters, and even secular outlets like TMZ were present. Ricky Dillard did not attend, but members of the New G Choir came quietly, sitting in the back, heads bowed. Josh Kaggler entered with his attorney, wearing a modest navy suit and no jewelry. His once confident stage presence had melted into a pale, nervous shadow of himself. The charges were read aloud: sexual assault, invasion of privacy, coercion, and multiple counts of misconduct related to a minor. Each charge struck like thunder. And then Josh Kaggler spoke. The apology that divided a community. The courtroom fell into a hush as Josh was asked if he wanted to make a statement before sentencing. He stood, shaky, voice trembling. He looked toward the gallery where his former choir members sat and said, "I failed. I let down my brothers, my sisters, my church, and most of all, I let down God. What I did was inexcusable. No amount of talent, no number of songs or sermons can cover what I did. I hurt people, and I am so sorry." Gasps echoed across the room. Some wept, some rolled their eyes, some just stared blankly. He continued, "This ain't a performance. This ain't damage control. This is me as a broken man, asking God and everyone I harmed to forgive me." The verdict: no mercy. Despite the emotional statement, the judge did not waver. She stated plainly, "Mr. Kaggler, your talent does not exempt you from justice. You violated sacred trust. You abused your influence. You manipulated your platform. And now you must face the consequences." Josh Kaggler was sentenced to 9 years in prison, with no possibility of early parole for the first 6. The courtroom fell silent. No shouting, no screaming, just heavy, solemn acceptance. He was escorted out in cuffs. That was the last time gospel music fans saw Josh Kaggler in the spotlight, not on a stage, but shackled, with tears in his eyes. Where do we go from here? In the days that followed, Ricky Dillard released one final statement: "While my heart is broken over Josh's actions, I believe in redemption and restoration. My prayers are with every victim, and I am committed to building a safer, more accountable ministry moving forward." He did not defend Josh. He did not vilify him either. Instead, he offered a vision for healing. The gospel industry began holding closed-door meetings. Ministries reevaluated their leadership training. Choir tours added new accountability rules. Victims were invited to share their truth without shame. And the gospel world changed, just a little. the final word. This scandal wasn't just about one man's fall, it was a wake-up call, a reminder that no amount of gifting can excuse broken character. That ministry must be accountable, not just anointed, and that healing only comes when truth is told, even when it hurts. To those still suffering in silence, you are not alone. Your voice matters. And to the gospel community, may we never protect platforms more than people.